Hello everybody, hello Inha University. My name is Karim, I'm Muzaffar's friend. He asked me to make a short video about my experience, my education abroad, and overall some kind of motivational video for you guys. So you are in the late 4th grade or 3rd grade where you are planning to go and study abroad, and at that point I can remember that I needed that kind of knowledge when I was graduating Tashkent University of Information Technologies in 2007. So I will do my best to give you guys my experience and give some kind of hints, or how can I say, short knowledge where you can kick off and start preparing for your master's degree in the United States or South Korea or wherever you want to go to study. Shortly about me, I have graduated in 2007 Tashkent University of Information Technologies. In 2007 I was accepted to Konkuk University in Seoul, South Korea. In 2009 I graduated Konkuk University in master's degree in computer science. After that I went back to Uzbekistan. I worked at USL for around 5 years, little bit less than 5 years. I worked as a senior engineer, working on different projects, and after that I have applied to Barry University in Miami, United States, and had really good experience and education in business administration. I decided to go with a different direction for my second master's degree. I was not ready for PhD, but some of you guys may be thinking about PhD as well. So that was shortly after my graduation at Barry University. I worked in different companies. I was interested in startups, so I worked in startup companies. Even my current company is kind of a startup, which is like around 10 years old. It's not a big company. We have like 400 employees all over the world, and you can check it later. I will tell you about my company as well a little bit. Overall that's all. I'm still in United States. I'm working here, and currently I'm working from home, but I work in downtown Miami area, and yes, so let's go to in detail, because I did a little bit of preparation for you guys in terms of how, like, you're graduating now, your 4th grade of the bachelor's degree, or you can be in the 3rd grade or 2nd, because if it's even better. Why? Because you have time to prepare for your IELTS, you have time to prepare for your GMAT or GRE, and have good scores on those tests in order to have a scholarship. In my case, I had a IITA scholarship, which was like around $800 per month, full free tuition, so I didn't have any payments for the university for my education. And I had a research assistant position where I had different projects, really interesting projects. I have rewritten, I think, 4 research papers, IEEE research papers, not the journal papers, but they are research papers. So, and I had good education in networking, wireless sensor networks, a little bit of robotics, and overlay networks in general. So in order to get to the Konkuk University, to get accepted, I had to study English, because my main language was Uzbek when I was studying at the university. English I studied going to British councils, some personal classes, self-education, library. So it was like long process of learning English and preparing for the TOEFL or IELTS. I think I was preparing for TOEFL, and I was lucky to. I can say it was luck, but when I was in fourth grade, I was participating in all technology and other conferences. Like we had EGOV conference, we had different conferences where professors were coming from South Korea and having their presentations or just visiting university. So on all of those meetings, I was there. I was networking, I was trying to find a good professor, good match for me, so he can give me a recommendation, he can give me an invitation to his lab, to his laboratory. How it works is a professor finds a student, or usually a student finds a professor, and asks him to take him to his lab as a research assistant. That's I think one of the best ways to get free education in South Korea. And additionally, you get some kind of a scholarship where you can get like monthly payment. It's not a salary. It's like it's a scholarship. Yeah. In my case, it was IATA who was giving the scholarship, but currently, as far as I know, IATA is not longer available. I did ask some of my friends who are still in South Korea. They told me about Seoul Tech University and UST, University of Science and Tech, are providing scholarships of $1,200 per month, which is including free tuition and array positions, research assistant positions. That's really wonderful, because like $1,200 is really good for studying and living in South Korea. Why South Korea? You guys know you are in Korean university. South Korea is really advanced in technology, in robotics, in different fields of technology. And at that time, I can remember in 2007, I was in South Korea. We had the optical line to our home of gigabit internet. In 2007, can you remember, we had dial-ups in Tashkent, and in Korea we had like gigabit optical lines up to the house. So after moreover the networking with the professors in the conferences, you can find them online, you can send them emails, you can research what kind of scholarships are there in South Korea, and you can ask other Uzbek students who are already studying in South Korea. We were chasing Uzbek students online. We were trying to find the connections, to find some Uzbek students where they could recommend to their professor us, me and my friends. Like I had many of our friends like Muzaffar, Hamidullah, Adham. I can count like many of my friends who were trying to find some professor so he can invite us to their lab as a research assistant position. And it is like it's a proactive way. You have to find your way, and you don't think that it's difficult. It's not easy as well, but it's achievable. Like there are so many students are studying in the South Korea. There are students studying in Europe, Japan, United States, and if you think that it's kind of motivational, I will tell you. If you think that so many people are studying there, then that means like they did it. Why you can't do that? That's it. Just study your English, take your test, check with the university what are the requirements, do those requirements, and that's it. You can get your recommendations from your university, your professors. Like I can remember, I was a part of UNDP project. It was led by Sherzod Shermatov, I think, at that time. He was it's a United Nations Development Program, and I was just asking a recommendation from him. So I was a volunteer. I was doing my best to be in that environment and meet those people, and I asked some kind of recommendations from them, and they gave me like really good recommendations for my master's degree. And that's that's really valuable for the professors when you get a good recommendations, when you get in contact with them, and when you get a good attitude, showing them your experience before that, your projects actually really also matters. What kind of projects did you do before in hackathons or yourself or in a team? That's also a good thing to show, or like showing your resume where you show your projects. In a real example, after meeting my future professor in Koreaga University, Tashkent University of Information Technologies, I got his business card as soon as possible. I tried to talk with him as much as possible, showing my experience, showing my background, just showing my attitude and my energy. And that was one of the best science first steps. I was lucky to have TAPS test at Tashkent University of Information Technologies done by the IATA community. They came and took 3 hours, if I can remember properly, test of English. It's kind of TOEFL test, but taken by South Korean organization, and everybody was trying to get their good score. I was lucky that I was preparing for my TOEFL, and I got not bad score. I had a good score, and that was enough for my professor. I sent him my test scores. I sent him my experience, my resume, and everything, my recommendation letters, and he made a recommendation to the IATA. I applied to the IATA scholarship. He made his recommendation to the IATA, and he invited me to his laboratory, to his lab in Koreaga University. It was CC lab, Computer Communications lab. I worked as research assistant, and studying at Koreaga University was not easy. I cannot say that going and having education abroad is like fun and you have fun all the time. No, you study, you get knowledge, you work, you do your research papers, but you get so invaluable experience that it will be with you for whole your life. And I still, if I say I have a master's degree in computer science in the United States, they don't ask where do you have it from. They just have like, cool. Sometimes they ask like, where do you get it from? I say South Korea, and they ask why South Korea? Because South Korea is so developed. They have all the technology, advanced technologies, even more advanced than the United States sometimes. So South Korea is like really good for education, in my opinion. After graduation at Koreaga University, I decided to go back home. I had my own reasons. I didn't stay in South Korea as my other friends. Some of my friends stayed. They still work in Samsung or other companies like that. But I had to return, and I started working at UCell. It's interesting because within a return, after first week of return, I was invited to UCell by other graduate of Korea. He was graduate from Inha Universiteti, and he was working at UCell at that time. And he asked me, why don't I work at UCell, because it's a European company, Teleson era, and I would be like a good fit at there. And in IT department, they were looking for graduates from South Korea returning, and they were interested in graduates of different countries coming back. So it was a good time, and I basically, after second week of return, I was accepted the offer and start working like second or third week of the return at UCell. That's funny because it was some kind of really fast process of getting hired, in my opinion. So after 4 to 5 years working at UCell, I decided to go further and think out of the box. At that time I was a senior engineer. I had lots of knowledge in engineering, but I don't have knowledge other than engineering. That comes after a few years of working, or that comes when you start interest in startups. So basically both happened to me, and I was at that time really interested in startups, opening my own startup, and for that I decided to go to American University and learn business administration. Again, at that point I found out that I need to have a plan and I need to have a strategy of getting some kind of scholarship. Business administration in the United States is not cheap. It can be starting from 40k per degree or like up to 200k. And I was looking for a university where I can get a good knowledge, but it's not so expensive. I didn't need like Ivy League high level of business administration, because it was only for me, not for becoming a CEO of Apple or something like that. One of the requirements was I wanted to go more warm place, not cold place. That was one of my requirements. And I started looking for universities. Again, I did the same strategy. I looked online, I looked through my contacts. Are there any students studying or graduate in the United States? I have found some of my friends who are also applying to American universities, and some of friends who graduated business or any other degree in the United States, so I can get some kind of experience from them. So I found Barry University. It is rated good in Florida. It's located in Miami. It's not expensive, and it has like good scholarships. To get again a scholarship, I had to take a test. Test is GMAT. GMAT is kind of math and English, but it's not English like TOEFL or IELTS. It's like a little bit higher, where you need to know science kind of side of English, and math is like IQ plus geometry and some logic, and kind of easy math, but you have to think more than just adding and multiplying. So I can say one thing about GMAT: it's not easy, but you can do it. Why? Because I did it and some other people did it. Some people got real high scores and they got full scholarships from the United States universities. In my case, I had like around 550. At the time it was like good enough to have a 70% scholarship, so I had to pay 30% of my education. Why I can say you can do it, because in order to do my GMAT, I had to find time on the weekends or in the evenings, because remember I was working at USL. I have a family. I had at that time one kid and a wife. I'm glad that they were supporting me. They were giving me more time to prepare, because you need time to prepare for your tests, as you already know, guys. And but I got like 550 in 3 months, I think. Around 3 months I spent for my GMAT test. After that, I applied to several universities. One of them were Barry, and Barry gave me like best scholarship. Other universities gave me not so good offers, basically. And preparing other than that, you can go and check university requirements, and it's really easy. You go to check university requirements. It's like several recommendation letters, your transcript, translated by official west.org's kind of service, and GRE or GMAT, English test, TOEFL or IELTS. If you have some universities accept without IELTS or TOEFL, if you have English teaching university. I'm not sure if Inha university in Uzbekistan works for it. But in my case, Konkuk University in South Korea was good enough not to take a TOEFL test for me to be accepted to the university. Yeah, basically that's kind of basic requirements. You can go online and check more about that. The main goal of telling you guys this is, it's not like rocket science. It's everything online. You just go, find requirements, do your plan, and go for it. That's it. If you are planning to study abroad, you have to do it. You have to just plan and do it. That's it. As a summary, let me give you some kind of recommendations that may be silly, that may be not so interesting, but from my perspective, that's what make me motivated all the time and do my best to work or to go and reach my goals. First of all, I try to think out of the box. I try to go where I want to go. I try to do what I want to do. And in this situation, it was going to master's degree in business administration in the United States. And that's what I did. After that, I decided to work in the United States and get experience from the international company. And here I was applying to different companies. I worked in different companies, and at the end I stopped at Mambu. Mambu is an international fintech company. It's quite a startup. I think it's like around 8 to 10 years, and we have like around 400 to 500, around 400 I guess, people working all over the world for Mambu. And I am a site reliability engineer at Mambu. I do automation, I do cloud engineering, I do really different kind of DevOps engineering stuff, mostly automation I think, and infrastructure management. What I wanted to say you guys, these are the small things what I do in order to achieve my goals. First of all, I do some kind of planning. I have yearly book where I plan yearly or monthly stuff, and I have daily book where I plan my daily stuff. Other than that, if you have a plan to go abroad, you have to plan it. It's not like 1 month thing. It may be a few months, it may be half a year, it may be year planning. In my case, for Konkuk University, I started preparing for my master's from the 3rd grade of the university. I went to CPPMP, Center Programmistov, I cannot remember exactly, just to learn programming because I was in telecommunications, and I didn't have any programming courses at Tashkent University of Information Technologies. I wasn't a developer at that time. You guys are more step ahead from what I had at that time. Actually, I had to take it. I have to go and get it. And in that case, 3rd grade, I used my time to learn engineering, to learn programming, to learn all those stuff. And 4th grade, I spent my year studying English and finding university to go and study abroad. Other than that, other than notebooks, don't give up halfway. Like, you have a plan, you have a goal, just reach it. That's basic. That's really basic. If you can see anybody who can reach something, anybody who can do something, he just do it his best. And it's not like 2 days process. It's not like 1 week process. You have to step by step go, plan, and go for it. That's the way. And in my case, when I have problems, when I have big things to do, I just make small steps. In this case, it's a big plan divided into small pieces, and each small piece can be weekly piece, it can be daily piece. And even for preparing for my GMAT, it wasn't easy because English was not my first language. I didn't have good English at that time. I'm still not so good in English actually. At that time it was difficult to study some kind of biology in English, and I mean reading biology text and answering the question. Or you can think GMAT is for Americans actually, who are applying to American master's degree, like they have to take GMAT, and they are having problems taking GMAT because they are not so good in math. But we are good in math in Uzbekistan. I'm sure you guys are really good in math. But other side is English, and when you read some science fiction stuff, some biology, psychology or something like that, it's not easy to do the test. My English score was lower than my math. That was a problem at the time, but like 550 is quite good, I think, still. I mean, university gave me 70% off from the tuition fee, and I had to go here. Came to the United States with small amount of money. I had my family with me, and let me tell you something more, which is an interesting story. First time I went to the embassy, I was denied. Basically, I was denied for my visa. Can you imagine? I have my wife, my son with me, and basically they said, we don't see that you come back after your graduation. And I was denied first time. That was really hard. Like I was accepted to the university. I was ready to go and study, and embassy didn't let me to proceed with my goal, with my plan. What can you do? What would you do at that position? You would say, okay, I will apply second time, right? Hopefully. So what I did is I spent another 2 months preparing for the embassy interview. I asked my wife to come later and get visa later, so I have some kind of little bit point of getting my visa, because after denial it's not easy to get second time. So second time I went for my visa, I was approved. Thanks God I was approved. Because of that I had to start my education not in September but in spring semester in January, and I came January 10th. I was in Miami starting my master's degree in business administration alone. I was living alone. I was studying and waiting for my wife and son to come because I was so missing them. Thanks God, like in summer break, I invited my family and they came. They were approved for the visa and they came and we are living together. Currently I have my 2 kids and my wife living together here in the United States. And we have like, how can I say, we reached what we wanted to do. We wanted to study and live in the United States, and that was our goal, and we reached our goal. And that basically it. You can do same if you have children. I'm not sure what age you guys, if you have a family or not, but this is a process. You plan, you prepare, you do your work, you do your homework, and you apply and you get your scholarship, you get your education, you get your future in your hand. After my graduation at Bergan University, I had different ways of proceeding. I could do my own startup, I could work in a startup, I could work in a big company like Amazon. I had like many choices here in the United States rather than having applying to the companies in the United States from Uzbekistan, it's more chances to be here and apply to those companies. I know like many people try to apply to international companies in order to have invitation or job offer, but I think it's more easier to come here as a student, and while you have 1 year or 3 years of postgraduate work visa, it says OPT, optional practical training, which means work approval. You can go and apply IBM, Amazon, Google, wherever you want, and with education, with a master's degree in the United States, you have much higher chances rather than applying from Uzbekistan with a bachelor's degree. That's kind of it. I think I tried to give my all of my experience, all of my inner life, all of my knowledge, what I could do in this situation. You guys have a really good education. I know some of the Inha graduates. I met them online, I met them offline, and basically I know that if you guys try to go to the abroad and get education abroad, you can easily do it. You guys are perfectly fit for that. And if you have any questions, if you have anything, don't hesitate me to contact. I'll give my contacts to Muzaffar, and in case you guys want to send me an email, any questions, I will be glad to answer them. Good luck, guys. Hope my experience, sharing of my experience, do help you and you achieve your goals in your life.